everyone, welcome back to epicartdesigns.com. In today's video, we're going to be designing this funeral flyer. This could be used for Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, any social media really, or you can get this flyer printed if you like. It's up to you. So before we actually get into the video, I know you're looking at this flyer and thinking this is going to be hard to design, or you're going to have to be like a pro in Canva, but you're really not. If you follow these steps that I'm going to give you in this video today to the T, and if you watch the video to the end, you will definitely achieve this flyer or something similar. Before we get started, make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our channel to see more content like this. Also, the graphics that I'm using in this video is not all from my graphics packs, but if you want to check that out, I will link it on the website as well. And then if you guys just want this template and really don't want to create it and you're like in a rush, I'll also link the link below to purchase this template. So let's get into the video. Okay, if you watch my other videos, then you will know I always like to start with the background first. This is going to make it so much easier for you to just have your layout ready. It's also going to organize the design process for you. So as you can see, I'm looking for a background. Now for this flyer, I kind of got a red and gray idea. And by the way, guys, I did search with red background and found the one that was perfect to my vision. I'm going to take this through Lunapic. This is good if you just want to quickly blend your pictures. So I'll link Lunapic down below as well, but you upload your photo and you go to border and you select edge fade border, and then from there you just set your amount to what you want to blur to. I did turn mine down a bit because it was too much, and then you save it. And we're going to drop it onto our canvas. Now that it is on my canvas, what I'm going to do is kind of crop it so that it fits to my vision. I'm going to crop it towards the bottom because it looks kind of like a floor, and that's what I'm going towards. I'm going to use that later in the video. Also, guys, something new that I started doing to my photos is kind of editing them. So if you go to Canva's adjuster, or like I guess the image editor, I believe that's free as well. You can play with the saturation, the contrast, the sharpness, and all that good stuff. So it looks kind of advanced. I don't know how to explain it, but it looks way better. So that's what I did. I kind of just played with the image because it kind of gives that premium effect as well. Okay, so I have my red background. Now I'm gonna look for my second background, which is I'm kind of looking for something vintage that looked distressed. This was not what I was going for, so I took out paper because I'm not really looking for paper, but I'm looking kind of for like a flower, curvy kind of background. I can't explain it, but once I find it, you will see what I'm looking for. So yeah, this is it. This better explains it. You also don't have to use Google. You can use the pictures in Canva. They have a ton of free pictures, so you can use that. So I'm gonna take this picture to Lunapic, and I'm just gonna upload this, and then I'm gonna use edge fade border again to kind of fade the edges. Again, you will upload your picture, then you go to borders and you look for edge fade borders. And you will set your percent here, not percent, but number to how much you want it to be faded, which that's perfect for me. So I'm going to save this and drop it onto my design. So this looks very perfect. Now I'm just going to move this into place, crop it, play around with your pictures as well, guys, to see where you would like it. Don't just settle for one spot. Again, play around with it, see if it looks better somewhere else. And then I did do the image editor as well. So I'm playing around with the contrast, saturation, vibrance, and all that good stuff to make my pictures look more crisp and detailed. As you can see, I'm playing around with the position of how I want this, making sure that it looks right. Now I'm gonna find a third image to blend. Now most people may think this too much and the background is gonna be like too loud, shall we say, but it's not. I promise. If you fade right and if you blend right, it's gonna look perfect. So the next background I'm gonna look for is like red kind of gold background, because I did want to pop a gold but not too much, and I will show you guys how to do the gold text, which a lot of people had problems with when I did the video. But sometimes it doesn't work because your font is too thin, but we're gonna get there. Let me not skip ahead. So we're taking each image or each background that we choose through Lunapic to fade the border, and then we basically gonna put it back into our design to position it how we want it. So I'm gonna find my background. It's taking me a while. Some parts I have to skip ahead because I'm very indecisive, okay? But we found the background we want, and I'm gonna upload it to Lunapic. We're gonna go to the border, edge fade border. Make sure you play around with the numbers to see, how much faded you want it, because sometimes it'll be too much. And then I'm just gonna save this and go ahead and drop it on my canvas. So I just cropped this to fit. I do want some of that gold to show, so that's where I'm gonna be cropping it at. And then I'm just gonna send this to the back because I do want that gray, like pop up gray and like monotone black to be in there as well. So now I'm gonna find my transparent gradient. I use transparent gradients around the edges of my design. Sometimes I will use like this one. This is kind of big. It may be a little bit too big, so I'd like to switch it up. Let me see. So I'm gonna make the colors darker as well. Always make your if you're working with dark colors, I would say always make your transparent gradients darker than your actual color. But this one was a little bit too big, so I'm just gonna go to the smaller one. By the way, these transparent gradients are free. I'm gonna go to the smaller one and I'm gonna make that darker than my color on my design. Yeah, so that looks pretty good. I'm gonna do that to the other edge as well. I'm gonna flip that. You can rotate your transparent gradients however you want it. And then I realized that I wanted a pop of that black background at the bottom too, so I did duplicate that. Don't be afraid to duplicate elements in your design. You can rotate them to make them look different, put them in different positions. So that's what I did, and it actually looked really good. Okay, so most people must think I'm done with the background, but as you can see, I'm not. Like I said, I'm very indecisive, so I move things around a lot. Okay, so also I did want to put a car in there. Say the person you're doing the funeral program have like a specific object they like. This is a good time to add that in. For me, it's gonna be a car, because who doesn't like cars. So I chose this car, but later in the video I'm gonna change it because this car looks kind of cheesy. It doesn't look like it really goes on a funeral program. So yeah. Okay, so someone asked, do people die every day in my area? No. Okay. I use Mid Journey to generate all my people for my templates. So yeah, if you want a tutorial in Mid Journey, let me know. I'm not a pro in Mid Journey, but I do know the basics. So okay, now I'm just going to edit this photo just like I did the background using Canva's image editor. So you just hit edit at the top left and then you go to adjust, and now you just play around with the contrast, the saturation, the vibrance, the sharpness, clarity, all that good stuff. If you want, you can copy my settings here, but I advise that it's different for every picture. So yeah, don't you can copy each one, but kind of edit it a little bit to each picture liking, I would say. So I am gonna go ahead and add a shadow around this photo. Yeah, so this just helps bring the definition out of the photo, I guess, and make it look 3D. I always try to add shadows behind my pictures, and that's what you're gonna be seeing me do here. Also, I'm gonna get my other pictures as well. So I get kind of like this vision of 3 pictures, so that's what I'm gonna use. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this one just because of his hand. So I'm going to go get another photo that I generated on Mid Journey. Be right back. Okay, so this is the photo that I'm going to use. So I'm just going to remove the background. Now, background remover is for the pro version of Canva. But if you go to remove.bg, they do have a free background remover. That's what I recommend for all the free users of Canva. So all I'm going to do really is just copy the edits that I have on this photo to the other one. Now, I know I said earlier don't copy it from the T, but if you do copy it, pay attention to how the photo looks. If it's like too edited, then you could kind of fix it. So now I'm going to get my other photo and I'm just going to copy the other edits to this photo. To do that, select the photo and then hit the paintbrush that's in the top right corner and then click the photo I want to apply the edits to, and it applies the same edits and the background remover to there as well, if you're using Canva's background remover, of course. And then I'm going to go ahead and move this photo to the back of the car. So now I'm just going to play around with the layers. because I want this black background on top of the pictures. Okay, guys, let's change this car because I really don't like it. I think I'm gonna go with a Ferrari. Um, I think that's better. So I'm just gonna choose one that I like and that looks realistic. You don't want to put cartoon images on your stuff. Try to find realistic items or images. It's gonna make it blend and look better. So I'm just gonna choose this one. I'm gonna download it and drop it on my design. And I'm just going to hit the paintbrush tool to apply the same edits on the car. Now you see how the car is like dark. You want to make sure that even if you copy your photos, you want to make sure that the edits look right on the object that you copied it to. So now I think I want this photo like a grayscale. So I'm gonna go to image editor and I'm gonna turn the contrast up and you want to turn the saturation down. Now this is how you create that monotone black and white effect without having to use Canva Pro filters. So I applied this to two of the photos. Now I'm just gonna blend out that blunt line with a transparent gradient. I did use the circle one this time. So basically I just repeat this gradient along the blunt line and it kind of blends it out really nicely. So I know it's gonna look like a red blotches right there, but we're gonna go ahead and put the background on top of that. Not too much on top of that though, but just on top of it halfway so that it kind of makes up for that redness that's right there. And then I'm gonna move this the background that's way in the back down some because I do want that floor to show. Okay, so perfect. I believe that's all the changes I want to make to this. Now, next is our text. So I am going to show you guys how you can create a gold metallic text effect. So yeah, most people was having trouble with this and was coming at me, but you got to do it right. You got to make sure your font is it's not too thin. Also, this is not a legit way to do it. This just is like a kind of like a way you can rig it basically. So yeah. So I'm going to create this gradient effect on the background. Make sure that your gradient isn't textured. That is the main reason why I am creating it myself from scratch because I don't like how the gradient papers are textured. So texture is going to definitely mess up the background remover. So I did get a gradient for example, and I'm just going to create the background into a gradient by clicking the color icons, and then instead of one color you want to hit gradient and just apply your colors that's on the background on the paper onto your gradient circle. So that's what you're going to be seeing me doing here. I really hope I'm explaining this well, but yeah. Okay, so it's starting to look really good. Make sure that make sure that your gradient is going straight down so that when you create your text going across, it's gonna be put together and kind of show that ombre effect. So now I'm just going to type my text. Now make sure your font isn't too thin. Please, please guys, make sure your font isn't too thin because your background remover will not work. Make sure that your font is big enough so it stretches across the whole paper. And yeah, so let's find the font. The font I'm going to be using is Old Standard. Now, this may be thin a little bit, maybe like between the text, but I know a way to fix that. But you guys make sure the font isn't thin because it will not remove. I'm also gonna bold this font just to add an extra security on the top of it. And then also we're gonna make the text white and turn the transparency down. And I believe I turned it down to like 44. Now I'm going to download only this page as a PNG. Make sure you don't have it on transparent background, just a straight PNG. We're going to wait for that to download. Once it's downloaded, let's go ahead and drop this back onto our design. And now you want to apply background remover. I am going to crop this a little bit and then apply a background remover. Now again, for the free version, you're going to have to drop this and remove .bg. Also, for me, the thin, this is why exactly why I said don't have too thin of a font, because some parts are going to cut off the letters, as you can see in the N and the A. But I know how to kind of restore these. If it's too difficult for you, just get find another font. It's okay. So that's what you're gonna see me doing here, is kind of restoring this font, fixing all the parts that kind of got cut out. And then let's check to see if it kind of did what it was supposed to do. And yeah, I think it looks pretty good. As you can notice also, the gradient isn't as powerful. That's because we have to edit this to make it pop more, because remember we kind of made the white on top of it kind of transparent. So now we have to turn the saturation up. You want to turn the vibrance up. You can play with the contrast, you can play with the sharpness, all that to get kind of that gold shiny metallic effect. So as you seeing me doing here, I'm just playing around with it, turning the highlights down, all that until I achieve what I want to. So now I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna put this in position, and also I'm gonna add a shadow behind this. And this is just gonna make the gold show even more. It's gonna look very magical. Okay, perfect. Let's position this. Now, I think that looks fairly good. I'm going to go ahead and add another text, but this time it's going to be the middle name. And I'm just going to create that in a regular font. I just like to do at least one of my fonts gold. I'm not going to make it too difficult for you guys. And also, if you purchase this template, the font will not be gold because you can't edit that. It will be white, but go ahead and follow these instructions here and you should be able to achieve that with the name that you do. So I'm gonna kind of space this middle name out as well, because I like the way that one looks. Okay, so once that is spaced out, I think we can go with a last name now. I'm gonna believe do like a cursive font for that. Yeah, so let's do Lee, and then the font that I'm going to be using. So I uploaded this font, so you won't see this font, but if you buy this template, you will see this font. So yeah, so this font is uploaded on Canva now. I believe you could do that with the free version of Canva, upload fonts. So yeah, I'm going to move this over, and then I'm going to create a shadow for Lee, so it's a little bit more pop to it, I believe. Okay. We're gonna turn the transparency up. And then you can kind of choose the offset. If you kind of like that offset look, you could, but I'm just going for a quick shadow. So that's perfect. Now next I am going to do the birth and death date. So I usually do that in like a font called Caldella. That is a free font using Canva. If you watch our previous funeral program videos, you know all the fonts we use. I'll just give you a rundown of them. So for like the regular text, it will be Caldella, or you can go for Mont. And then for sometimes for the name, I'll use Senzel. That's a good one. And then for like the script, I will use Slope Script Pro. So what you're about to see me do here is kind of do the birth and death date. So yeah. And I'm just gonna put sunrise and then sunset. Okay, so sunset, and it's starting to look pretty good. I might bold all of it or italic it, depending on how it looks. And then of course you want to make sure behind every text you have that you add shadows. And to do shadows on text, you have to go to effects instead of edit, because you can only do when you do text, it has to be effects. So make sure that you go to effects and you could do shadow, or you could do an offset. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my data funeral in the location of funeral. Now I did copy this from my other programs, but basically this is the a text in the same font that we used before, and I just copied it over here. Now I'm gonna put black down there because the background is distracting it a little bit. So it's okay if you want to put a transparent gradient down there. It's fine if you do that. Now I'm just touching up everything. So basically we're done, but this is the part where you want to add your finishing touches. Now say you want some bokeh, you want some gold flares, you want some doves, some religious statues or features, you could go ahead and add that as well. You have your basics down on your design. Now you could just add extra elements. Surprisingly, most people do not like religious features stuff on their design or anything related to heaven or death. So I just went with some doves just in case, but you can remove those. Feel free to leave them out how you want to do it. And also, I am putting In Love and Memory. Again, that font for In Love and Memory is Slope Script Pro. And that is the main script font that I like to use if I'm doing cursive. I will find some new ones though. I do have new ones, but I do share this one. This is like the easiest one on Canva that I could find that's perfect. But I do upload different fonts to here as well. And then also, if you're selling like funeral programs and templates, you can upload fonts, and the people or the person who buy the template will be able to see your uploaded fonts and use them. They just can't delete them because they're not going to see them anymore. But yeah, other than that, so a few things I wanted to touch up on. When you are putting elements or anything on your design, make sure to edit the element so it blends, so it don't just look like you placed an element on top of your design. If you do that, I believe it does make the design look flat. So make sure you blend that element into your design, like I did with the doves here. Make sure you are using your shadows. Make sure you're using all the tools that you have. Make sure you're looking at what you can do better with your design, and just practice. Practice. Perfect. So yeah, I added doves, and then also I'm gonna add something else because it was looking a little bit bland. I'm gonna add a city. I feel like it's gonna make it pop. Now you don't have to add the city. If you want to stop here, feel free to, but I'm just gonna look for a city, maybe in Chicago, to kind of add right there. So yeah. So I'm gonna add this one, I believe, and I'm gonna save this from Google, and I'm gonna drop it into Lunapic because I want to fade the edges. Guys, I highly recommend that you use Lunapic. It's a very great tool. Use all your options, especially you doing custom work and you're trying to build your portfolio. Use all your options that you have. Be creative. Be really creative. So now I'm just gonna save this and drop this back on my design. So I'm gonna add it in the top right corner, and I want to add that little small portion there. So that's what you're gonna see me doing. And I'm gonna create a monotone effect on it as well. So we're gonna turn the contrast up and the saturation down. And I think that looks really good. I'm gonna just send this to the back of him so it doesn't look too busy, and also turn the transparency down. I am gonna play with the position a little bit, just to make sure it's in the best position possible. Also, I did make a mistake here. I cropped it too much, so it started to show the blunt line, as you could see. So I had to kind of make it back the regular size it was, and then just move it over. Perfect. So now I'm gonna turn this transparency down. And like that. So now it doesn't look so blank to me. I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Let me know in the comments. Do you think it just made it look too busy? So now I'm just adding finishing touches now. Just make sure everything is cropped. I'm also gonna add a glare, the sun too. So yeah, I'm gonna add that under the name and kind of crop it. Just play with the position of it. And the glare in the sun is also in the 100 graphics on our website that will be linked in the description below. And yeah, so that is the glare. As you can see, I'm playing around with it. Really quickly, if you want like a more detailed tutorial and you have personal questions, go join our Patreon. I do answer questions on there, and I have very in-depth tutorials. We show our paper and printer suppliers for this as well. So yeah, definitely check that out. I'll have our Patreon link below as well. And that is all for today's video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed and you learned something. By the end of this video, you should have created a funeral flyer. Again, if you have any questions, let me know down below. I will answer them for you. Make sure that you like this video and subscribe to our channel, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.